There we go. Set that thing up proper. Well, guess what? Mr. Charlie Daniels, aka Uncle Upchuck, is at it again. His latest soapbox is titled The Fallacy of Campaign Financing. And then he starts it off at the writing of this column. It's a well-known fact that a billionaire from New York is trying to buy the presidency. And his strategy is such that he's able to circumvent the heavy lifting of the smaller primaries by just buying expensive ads on the Super Bowl, the Daytona 500, and flood the nation with television commercials that sing his praises and promises of what he could do for America. Well, just isn't that interesting? That sounds exactly like what Adolf Hitler has done. Oh my goodness. And remember, we won't say one word against his orange calf. He just won't do it. He just wants to kiss butt and make sure that all the juicy tax breaks and tax cuts go into his tax bracket because he doesn't want to pay his taxes like everybody else. Nobody wants to pay taxes. But how are we going to have roads? How are we going to have schools? I mean, how are we going to make changes? How are we going to lift the poor up out of the poverty they're trapped in? Because I can tell you this much. It ain't the people on welfare and SSI and disability that's draining the system down. No, that's not it at all. What is draining the system down right now is the fact that we spend way too much money on the military. Way too much. And they've lost billions and billions of dollars that are unaccounted for in the military. But oh no, it's the fault of the poor people and the people who need food stamps, utility assistance, housing assistance to stay afloat. This is not going to work. You can't just give everything to the rich and expect to make it up off the backs of the people who have to struggle and have to balance everything. Do I pay my rent this month, or do I go to the doctor? Or do I pay my rent this month, or do I buy food that I need to eat? Or do I have to figure out what's more important? Am I have to pay for my transportation costs to get to and from my job that barely pays a pittance anymore? Or do I make sure that I have lights on, I have heat, food, whatever? Oh, yeah. And then he goes on to talk about he's pulling about how if it ain't Bloomberg who gets the nod, he'll rejoice because he's pulling for Sanders to run, as he's want to show the world just how much of a Bolshevik he really is, and how far to the extreme left the Democrats have drifted, and get this question of socialism settled at least for the foreseeable future. Socialism. Does this old man know the actual definition of socialism? I highly doubt it. He likes to scream about socialism. He doesn't want any of his tax money at all going to help people that are in the most dire need. And he claims to be a Christian. Remember, give unto Caesar that which is Caesar, and give to the Lord that which is the Lord's. Do you remember that little phrase in the Bible, Mr. Daniels? I don't think you do. I think you worship Republican Jesus, who is 180 degrees opposite of what the supposed real Jesus is supposed to have been like. Then he goes on to talk about what a man like Bloomberg, just because he's super rich and won't miss a meal or have to sell a G5 to spend $1 billion running for president, there's something wrong with the system. Excuse me. Isn't your orange calf super rich? Didn't he spend a buttload of money claiming that he was using his own money, but he actually wasn't? Oh, you don't say nothing about that, do you, Mr. Daniels? No, you won't say a word about that. And why? Because it would just show just what a hypocrite you really are. Then he goes to whine about the big donors who contribute to the campaigns of congressmen, senators, governors, and all sorts of politicians, having unfettered access to their offices and ask and receive favors all throughout their tenures while John Q. Public can do nothing but suffer the consequences. What do you think we're doing right? What do you think I am doing right now? I don't go out anymore. I can't afford to go out. I can barely afford to keep my car going to put gas and oil and maintenance on it. I mean, I'm living on $750 a month, period. That's all I get for money every month. $750. That's it. Nothing more. And yeah, I've got rent to pay. I've got car insurance to pay. I've got electric to pay. And I've got my other bills to pay. A credit card that I have racked up with car repairs, which is now at to the max. And I have to pay it off because I can't fix anything's wrong with my car until I pay off my credit cards. Yeah. Yeah, you're not suffering, Mr. Daniels. No. People like me are suffering. But you could care less. As long as you can get to sit up there and ride your little horsies, ride your little snowmobiles, and while you just ride around the country and play a fiddle. I've lost all respect for you. I have none left for you. You have no credibility. You have defended the wrong side for the past 15 some odd years that I used to be able to comment on your little soapboxes. But now your team CDB Gestapo, well, they don't want anything that is not fawning ass-kissing about everything you say. And those that do manage to get a comment to get through that's critical of him, oh my goodness. They don't seem to be able to comment too much after that, do they? Does he get on your ass about it, Team CDB Gestapo? And crony indebtedness follows some politicians from the local office to the state house of Capitol Hill. Yeah, right. Please. Yeah, and he's talking about how to level the playing field, eliminate the mile-wide loopholes whereby individuals and corporations deliver cash to the candidate. Then why do you support Citizens United? Why? Why do you support Citizens United, which allowed a flood of cash from business interests to dictate the way our elections go? Do you have an answer, Mr. Daniels? You never answer. You never answer any honest criticism. You just shift into the closed mind loop that all you right-wingers go to. The people you support are God. Nothing they can do is wrong. But yet they're doing the exact same things you constantly carp about. But you won't say one word against them, will you? No, you won't. Because you're afraid of offending your cash cow and losing your benefits. That's what it is. Yeah. You talked about he's not good at mathematics or savvy to the procedures necessary to eliminate the excessive giving and undue influence and bias. Yeah, right. Well, people have sat down, identified problems, and recommended solutions. And every one of them solutions have been shot down because it would just skew the system. It would break up the old boys network. It's just strange. And check out the response from his number one sycophant, Plowboy, who I call Plow Punk. And here's what Plowpunk has to say. Amen, amen, and amen, Charlie. Hallelujah, pass the ammo. I personally believe the Trump train will steamroll over every one of them, and I hope that the Democratic Party fails the burn, for it's truly become the Socialist Party. Obama be damned. I also agree with what you tweeted the other day. Hey, Bloomberg, you know as much about firemen as a hog knows about an airplane. So how you gonna teach somebody else how to do it? Better stay in New York City where corn comes in cans. His arrogance is astounding. But oh, I love how Pocahontas scalped the man who wants to be president for the party. And of the Me Too movement in the debate the other night. Enough said. God bless Plowboy. Yeah, this is the kind of people that suck up every word as gospel truth. They're also addicted to Fox. They're addicted to Breitbart. They're addicted to Limbaugh. They're addicted to Sean Scamity. They're addicted to Bill O'Reilly. They're addicted to that Michelle Malkin-Twunt. I mean, I'm telling you. What is wrong with these people? What is wrong with them? I mean, they're just like, oh my, we got somebody we like. Someone that does everything we tell him to. Someone that takes away from those and gives it to us. Yeah. You've got an orange-hued Robin Hood stealing from the poor and giving to the rich. That's what we got. I am so damn sick and tired of people like Uncle Upchuck and his sycophants, his adoring acolytes. It's a cult on the right. And they sit there. Remember? They bitched about Clinton getting a blowjob in the Oval Office. They screamed for his head on a pike. But guess what? We've got multiple verified cases of sexual harassment against their orange Lord and Savior. Do they say one word against him? Oh, hell no. No, they support him in that because he's a man, and a man is always right. No, I don't think so. Yeah, I used to like you, Charlie Daniels. Not anymore. I haven't felt as much respect for you now as you had for Obama. And they're going to call me an Obama lover, this and that and the other. I don't give a damn what you say. That man was a blessing for our country. He wasn't afraid to admit mistakes. He wasn't the one who's ready to send in the military every time he's got his little feelings hurt. No. And he wasn't the one who went around pissing off our allies, along with enraging our enemies even more. Our own allies don't trust us now. But yet you support that thing that's infesting the White House. What's going on in your minds? What is going on in your minds? Please tell me. Of course, you know, you never will because you never respond to anything at all. All you do is jot down your bouts of verbal diarrhea, post them on your little soapbox, and then you just sit there and just gleefully read all the adoring sycophantic replies. And you don't seem to like those that are critical of what you say. And especially if someone has the absolute nerve and the gall, like I did, to put links and citations to back up what I was saying. For doing that, that's the unpardonable sin for you and your sycophants, isn't it? Because you don't allow me to comment anymore. You don't. Because you don't want anybody to show you for what of a senile, doddering fool you are. So just hunker down in your little right-wing bunker Have your cans of chili mac on the right and your cans of Spam on the left, and right behind you is your stash of guns and ammo. Yeah, we'll see just how much you people last if something breaks out. You wouldn't last 2 seconds in front of the military of the United States. But then again, of course, you want the same weapons that this military has. So that's why you're against anything that makes it more difficult for anybody to get a gun. And you're against anything that would uplift somebody like Jesus would. Mark my words, like Jesus would. I mean, I ain't no religious person. I turned my back on religion years ago because of the hypocrisy. They sit there, preach all nicey, goody stuff in the sermons, but yet they do the exact opposite once they're outside them church walls. I mean, I don't feel the need to go to a place at least once a week to go and compare clothing to make sure everybody's dressed nice enough and looks presentable and looks rich enough to hardly any of it goes to the people anymore, especially in the mega churches. Yeah, you want a businessman to run this country? And run this country like a business, by God. Run it like a business. Well, he's running like his own businesses. How many businesses has he bankrupted? How many has he driven into the ground? But no. Yes, I'm going off on a tangent. Yep. Oh, let's see. Yeah, I'll make sure. Stick something down there about, just go to his little soapbox diatribes at charliedaniels.com and just click on the soapbox. Yeah, and you'll be able to see exactly just how idiotic this man is. He constantly carps about Benghazi and this and that and the other. And make sure to go through his archives. But you'll miss the one that's called Bet You Haven't Heard, where he basically regurgitated email forward garbage as proof. Untrue email forward garbage. And that's the main reason why that one is no longer on the archives. Most of them are no longer on the archives because they demonstrate his hypocrisy compared to what he preaches in his little gospel tours. I don't give a damn about you, Charlie Daniels. I don't care if you're Christian or this or that and the other. Act like one. Don't put down those that Jesus hung around with. Jesus hung around with those that the religious, the religious and the political hierarchy disapproved of. You know, the tax collectors, the harlots, the beggars, the poor, the sick. Yeah, Jesus hung out with them types. You don't. So that says something about you and your followers, doesn't it? Well, I guess I want to close this one off because my blood pressure's going up. Just thinking about this is senile old git. Well, we'll catch you next time. So, bye-bye.